welcome to another episode of K-Cat Commentary, your go-to place for anime, manga, and yaoi facts, recommendations, and reviews, all done by yours truly. So, based on what the title suggests, I'm giving you more information on a show that I personally have loved since childhood. And even though some of you may not like it, or some of you may be just getting into it, I do warn you, if you don't want spoilers, this video is full of them. Not as heavy as you would think, but it is pretty spoiled. Just to give you a little rundown of what the anime is about, I'll just give you a little bit of background info. Inuyasha is a manga and anime series that was originally drawn and created by the infamous Rumiko Takahashi in 1996 and ended in 2008. It later became two anime adaptations between its time being created as a manga. The first part of the series, which was titled Inuyasha, started on October 16, 2000 with Yumuri Sunrise and Tokyo TV, and then ended its 167 episode run on September 13, 2004. Then, the second series, Inuyasha The Final Act, began 5 years later in 2009 and ended with about 26 episodes in 2010, concluding the franchise. There's also been 4 feature-length films, an OVA, and a few random console games that range from combat games to RPG role-playing games. Now with all this, I'm sure a few things flew over even the most dedicated of fans' heads. So without being said, let's get grooving. Inuyasha's age. Inuyasha is over 200 years old, despite his teenage to young adult-like appearance due to the youthful looks of his slowly aging demonic skin, which is caused by their long lifespans as demons. Inuyasha is really over 200 years old, and has outlived his mother in old age, and will most likely outlive his wife Kagome and his human friends Sango and Miroku, and their 2 to 3 children. But because he's a half-demon, his lifespan isn't nearly as long and expected to be outlasted by full demons such as his older brother Sesshomaru, who's already about 500 years older than him, which means he's about 700 years. Makes you wonder how someone so old can be so naive and childlike. Kilala's name. Kilala's name really isn't Kilala. It's actually Kiara. This came about with the mispronunciation in the English dub because the English voice actor, Kelly Sheridan, kept saying Kilala when reading out the lines for the English dub script, so they just went with it because it was easier to remember. In reality, in Japan, the name Kilala has no meaning, which is why in the title or subs of Inuyasha, it's always spelled K-I-A-R-A, Kiara. That's her real name. Number 8. Onigumo and Naraku's name and Naraku's powers. Now this one's kind of a long one and has multiple layers of facts to it, so bear with me. We all know Naraku is pretty fierce and a powerful demon throughout the show, with both his physical abilities to decapitate and pretty much cripple most of his enemies, as well as his mental abuse and manipulation. But what you may not know about Naraku is his name literally means hell. Naraku was a demon. He was created by a dying and immobilized Onigumo whose name literally means bandit. He sacrificed his body and most of his soul to demons in order to have the love of his life, Kikyo, whom took care of him in a cave while he was immobilized. It had been noted that Naraku was born from a fusion of demons, and he pushed Onigumo's heart and soul into the back of his mind, and took control basically. Naraku is known for absorbing, using, and manifesting flesh and miasma, in which he uses and even disposes of at any given amount of time due to his infinite supply. He is also made up of literally 80% of just pure demonic energy, which consists of miasma and multiple demons he swallowed up over the series, and roughly 20% of pure flesh, whether it be human, demon, or some other substance of slime and grime. But it's also true, which isn't apparently shown and visible as his other powers, that Naraku is a master of magic, sorcery, and shapeshifting, in both human and demonic forms. Most notably, he's known for turning into the female fatale, which was using the weakness of lust from Miroku's grandfather to put a curse of the wind tunnel on his right hand and plague it to the next 2 generations of his family name, which eventually led to Miroku bearing the curse, as well as morphing into both Kikyo and Inuyasha on the day of Inuyasha's enchantment and Kikyo's demise, in order to betray and manipulate the two into wanting to kill each other. This actually was the only way until that of Mount Hakire episode, where Naraku actually slaughtered Kikyo and threw her into a river of miasma, that Kikyo could be killed because the heart of Oniguma would not allow him to harm or kill her directly. And to be honest, this is a mystery as to why Naraku possesses the jewel in the first place. Other than to use it for mind control or as bait to guide Inuyasha and his friends to his castle or whereabouts, he has been noted to use the power until the end of the final act series directly on himself to enhance his power. He only one of the canon series villains to evolve in power without any aid of the jewel on his body, and lived up until the series end. I mean, when you think about it, Naraku was pretty well adjusted and a great strategic villain in the series, who basically knew how to stay alive and not let greed of the jewel that basically whispers in the ear of its possessor into battle without him being overtaken by the greed of the jewel and skirt flips. One of the most talked about topics in Inuyasha when it first started and aired on TV was the length in which Kagome's schoolgirl and various other skirts were, and they weren't exactly covering much. So many fans of the manga came to shock as Takahashi's drawn style for her and her uniforms were changed from that of an umbrella style, which covered her body pretty well over the skirts, unless they were flipping up when she ran or was falling in a convenient manner though. But in the anime, her skirt was much shorter than some anticipated, and you could even get a glimpse of some of the borderline potential panty shots in the first 3 episodes. I wonder how many demons and humans in the feudal era would have seen her panties and lived to tell the tale. Well, it better than some of the stuff I saw in my middle school. Number 6, Kagome's dad. If you were like me growing up watching the show, I'm sure you wondered if Kagome even had a dad. Was it some baby mama drama with her mom and dad gone child support? And do Sota and Kagome have the same father? Apparently Kagome does have a father, in which her mother still loves, and is even revealed in episode 48 that they met under the god tree, and she instantly fell in love with him. So I'm assuming her father died after Sota was born, seeing as always mentioned him in the past tense whenever they discuss him on the rare occasions in the manga that they do. That's about all I could find on the subject. If you guys have any suggestions or found any new information about it, please let me know in the comments. Inuyasha's durability. Even though Inuyasha may be seen by a lot of fans as weak and kind of naive, he's actually a lot stronger than you think. He has the power to enhance his claws so that they can cleanly slice through flesh and bone, using the move Iron Reaver's Soul Stealer. He can also draw and manipulate his own blood as weapons, using Blades of Blood, and he can also channel and see demonic energy with his Tetsaiga through the Windscar or Backlash Wave, while other demons can only smell or faintly sense it. He also has thick armor-like skin, which is seen in episode 5 when Yura of the Hair had literally snapped a tree in 2 and grazed Kagome's skin on the side of her cheek where it wasn't covered by the robe of the fire rat, but Inuyasha was entangled in her hair but still able to survive. This proves that his durability is a bit stronger than most demons, which just goes to show you that Inuyasha's durability is a lot stronger than you think, with or without the robe of the fire rat. Sango and Miroku's son. In the epilogue of Inuyasha Black Tetsaiga, it is revealed that Sango and Miroku's son is named Komori, which literally means to babysit. So they basically named him what they do for him. One of the simplest names you could ever think of, but yet sounds so elegant to the foreigner. Number 5, Sesshomaru's background. Sesshomaru never hated humans before his father fell in love and died for one. He also never saw anything but one flaw in his father's existence and light, which was his admiration for humans, which ironically was his downfall. Sesshomaru himself saw himself above humans, until he met and revived Ren. He always saw his father as the perfect being and desperately wanted to be like him, strength and power-wise, which is why he desperately wanted to wield Tetsaiga and to amount to the strength that was Inuyasha, which was his father's name. However, he openly despised his mother because, much like his earlier parts of the series, she was self-absorbed and quite blunt in her opinions on everything that didn't please her. Number 4. The Japanese voice actors. The voice actress for Kagome, Satsuki Yukino, is also notable for voicing Shion and Mion Sonozaki in Higurashi no Naku Koro ni When They Cry, Yuriichi Shironin from Bleach, Rose in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and Koala in One Piece. She said playing Kagome was the most fun she had had in her voice acting career. Oh, so it must have been so much fun for her to scream Inuyasha the entire time of the series. Like, seriously, I could probably count on like a chalkboard how many times she said that during the original run. Number 3, the English voice actors. The Japanese voice actors stayed the same throughout the series, but the English dub actors changed from Inuyasha to Inuyasha the Final Act. You may have noticed the vocal change of a few of them. David Kane, who voiced Sesshomaru, was replaced with Michael Dangerfield in the final act, and Monica Story, the iconic voice of Kagome, was replaced with Kira Tozer. But despite those changes, many would argue that it was still just as good as the original. Voices didn't really change that much in tone, just maybe a little bit of pitch and accent was a bit different. But that didn't change the other great voice actors that were also starring. Richard Ian Cox as Inuyasha, Jillian Michaels as Shippo, and one of Kagome's best friends. Also, Paul Dobson, one of my favorite voice actors in the Viz Media franchising, played Naraku, Miyoga, Ginta, Onigumo, the Prince Kagewagi Hitomi, and the Frog Prince from an off episode, Sugimomo no Gama. Ironically enough, both his older brother Michael Dobson, who voiced Magatsui, and his younger brother, who voiced Muso, both were voice characters who literally came from Paul Dobson's character's flesh. Takes the phrase blood is thicker than water to a whole new level. Number 2, Rumiko Takahashi's success. Rumiko Takahashi is one of the richest female comic artists in the world, and one of the best-selling female comic artists in history as of February 2010. Over 170 million copies of her various works have been sold, and she has twice won the Shokugawa Manga Award, once in 1980 for Yusei Yatsura, and again in 2002 for Inuyasha. There has been countless hoax articles of her death since 2008, so I guess that means she's pretty famous. She's currently 58 years old, and is on top 12 lists of women who deserve a Lifetime Achievement Award by comic alliances. Pretty cool, I'd say. And finally, to number 1, her recent award nomination. Speaking of Lifetime Achievement Awards, Comic-Con International has nominated Rumiko Takahashi for the Eisner Hall of Fame Award. She is yet to be chosen in the final 4 spots, though, but is one out of the 14 nominees set to be decided for the finals, along with artists such as Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons and Futurama, and the co-creator of the X-Men series, Herb Trimpe. Takes the phrase, it's a man's world, especially in such a heavily male-dominated genre such as the comic books, to really get there. And I applaud Miss Rumiko Takahashi for being one of the first to break out into it. And there you have it, Inuyasha facts you may not have known. Did you know any of the facts I listed? Did I miss a few facts that maybe you should have added? Let me know in the comment section below, and be sure to like this video if you found it pleasing. Also, please be sure to subscribe to my lovely channel if you want more anime, manga, and yaoi posts, kinda like this and others that I'll be posting in the future. And let's hope that we have a nice day, be nice to everyone, and stay groovin', humans!